This is a 25-minute ABC body scan meditation. For more information, please go to www.dorset-mindfulness.co.uk. That's dorset-mindfulness.co.uk. So before we start this meditation, just making sure that we've got a protected space for this 20 or so minutes. Making sure that we will not be disturbed in any way. Checking that the phone is switched off. Just so that we can have this time to be with ourselves just the way we are. To take time out for ourselves. And we can do the body scan either sitting up or laying down. So just finding a most appropriate posture for you, whatever you feel most comfortable with right now. If you're sitting up, then just allowing the back to be straight, shoulders relaxed, hands on the lap or by the belly. And if you're laying down, just making sure that perhaps you have a pillow underneath your head or underneath your knees. Maybe having a blanket, just making sure that this posture that you'll be occupying is a comfortable one. And before we start the body scan, it's always a good idea just to connect with our intention for doing this practice. Very often we can have a motivation to maybe fix something or get rid of something or heal something or relax something. And all of these motivations are perfectly normal and they can actually be honored. They can be acknowledged and valued because they are important. So maybe just allowing to bring to our awareness whatever motivation we might have right now. Just to be aware of that. And at the same time, the invitation is to consider suspending this goal or this motivation and to allow it just to go to the back of the mind. Connecting perhaps with the fundamental intention of mindfulness, which is to simply be present with our experience. And with time beginning to trust that this being present is the very thing that is going to help us heal, help us find a sense of balance in life. So tuning into this fundamental intention of simply being an observer, of simply being present with our experience just the way it is. So it's possible that at times this mindfulness meditation might be very relaxing and very enjoyable, and at other times it might be not so relaxing and not so enjoyable. Our role as a mindfulness practitioner is simply to notice what it is and allow it to be as it is. So as we begin the ABC, A standing for acknowledging, B stands for breath, and C stands for connecting, I'd like to invite you to just acknowledge your inner experience, whatever it is right now. There might be thoughts going through the mind, might be planning, strategizing, or something very specific might be going round the mind over and over. Or there just might be stillness. Just taking a moment to acknowledge our inner experience. There might be some sensations and emotions. Some of them might be comfortable or uncomfortable or just neutral. So also just taking a moment to acknowledge what's happening in this moment right now and allowing it to be just the way it is. And as we move to the B, the breath, just taking a moment to tune in to our breathing right now. Maybe checking in with where we are experiencing the breath the strongest in the body. And it's not that we're trying to change the breath in any way, but rather just tuning in to the natural in-breath and natural out-breath. So very often we are experiencing the breath at the lower abdomen, perhaps, with the rising and falling of the abdomen with each inhalation and exhalation. So see if that's true for you. See if you can notice the belly rising and falling. And as we move to the C, the connecting, I'd like to invite you to allow your attention to flow from the breath all the way down to your feet. And see if you can just notice where the feet are connecting with the floor, perhaps. See if you can notice that point of contact. Just resting your attention on that point of connection, where both feet are touching the floor in some way. Including in that awareness perhaps the toes, as well as the spaces between the toes. Noticing the ball of the foot, the arch of the foot, the heel of the foot. See if you can maybe tune into the temperature of your feet. Do they feel cold, warm? Maybe there is some tingling. Or it's possible that there is no particular sensation at all, in which case we can just notice and recognize absence of sensation. So see if that's true for you. Tuning into both feet. And if the mind wanders off to some worrying or planning or whatever activity that it usually does, that's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean that you are failing in some way. Just acknowledging that the mind has gone off and simply see if you can gently but firmly bring it back to both feet. And just resting here in that awareness of the feet. Allowing the attention to flow further up through the ankles. Really including the bones of the ankles, the ligaments. And as we travel further up into the lower legs, Noticing perhaps the calf muscles, the weight of the calf muscles, the shin bone, sensing perhaps the point of contact where clothing touches the lower legs. Just the lower legs. Allowing the attention to flow further up into the knees. And really just tuning into this part of the body. Almost like a radio station tuning into this particular frequency. Sensing the top of the knees, the underneath part of the knees, the sides of the knees. Just being curious and open to what we can discover, if anything, here. And allowing the attention to flow further up into the thighs. And this is a big muscle group. So see if you can sense right into the thighs themselves. Really tuning into this part of the body landscape. Maybe noticing the point of contact where the thighs connect with the floor or the chair. Sensing perhaps right inside the thigh bone. Just tuning in, just staying present with the thighs as they are right now. And if the mind wanders away to some worrying or some thoughts or planning or strategizing or dwelling on the past, perfectly normal. Doesn't mean that we are failing. Just acknowledging that and kindly, if you can, redirecting, re-escorting your attention back to the thighs. And just resting here for the next few moments. Allowing the attention now to flow into the buttocks and the pelvic area. And just noticing what we can discover here, if anything. If you're noticing any tension or discomfort in this part of the body or any other part of the body, see if you can just acknowledge that. I'm going to say like a mental hello. I feel you, I see you. And see if you can just allow it to be as it is without trying to change it. Or noticing that perhaps you wish it would change in some way. And just notice that as it is. And then coming back to the pelvic area, to the buttocks. And allowing the attention to flow further up into the lower back. And this is a part of the body that sometimes holds tension or discomfort or pain. Or for you it might be that there is no particular discomfort and that it feels relaxed, loose, comfortable. So whatever it is, just taking stock here. Just tuning in to the lower back. And if there is any tension or discomfort, see if you can just acknowledge that and say hello to that. Just be with that as it is. And maybe from that awareness of the way this part of the body is, you can let go a little, relax a little in this part of the body. Maybe take a deeper, soothing breath here, just to ease, to relax, to let go of any tension, any holding, if that's possible for you. Allowing the attention to flow into the lower abdomen. And perhaps here at the lower abdomen, noticing the breath again. The belly expanding, deflating with each inhalation, exhalation. Allowing the attention to flow further up into the solar plexus. Just noticing here, just resting here for the next few moments. And then slowly allowing the attention to flow inward inside the body and out the mid-back. Just noticing what that mid-back area of the body feels like. Is there any sensation? Is there warmth, coolness? What can you discover here? Allowing the attention to flow further up the back to the upper back. And here including the left and right shoulder blade. Noticing what is there at that part of the body. Any sensations, any feelings. Really just staying in touch with the body itself. Allowing the attention to flow into the shoulders. And then down the arms, through the elbows and into the forearms and into the hands. And just resting in the hands as they are right now. Just tuning into the hands themselves. See if you can notice the temperature of both hands. Do they feel cool, warm, tingly? Or maybe there's no sensation. Maybe there's just the awareness of the hands as they are right now. Allowing the attention to flow up the wrists. And up through the elbows and back into the shoulders. And here just noticing what the shoulders feel like. Are they tense? Are they relaxed? Do they feel comfortable, uncomfortable? Just noticing and just inviting ourselves to stay present, just to say hello. Almost like a mental hello to whatever we can discover here. Whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable or just neutral. Sometimes as we travel through the body, we might notice parts that do not feel comfortable. So it's useful to maybe just remind ourselves that we don't have to like the experience. That sometimes it's about being okay with not feeling okay. So if this is true for you, how can you invite yourself to be okay with not feeling okay? How can you invite yourself to be with discomfort just the way it is? So if you notice the shoulders are tense in some way, there might be an option, an opportunity to relax the shoulders and to ease the shoulders. Maybe taking a deeper breath here, a soothing deeper breath, and relaxing, letting go in some way, perhaps. And allowing the attention to flow into the chest. And noticing here perhaps the rising and falling of the chest. Noticing here perhaps the chest and the rib cage expanding. Lungs taking in oxygen, letting go of carbon dioxide. Just tuning in to the expanding and contraction of the rib cage here. Just tuning in to that process of breathing. Allowing the attention to flow up through the chest and into the neck. Just taking stock of what we can discover here in the neck. And allowing the attention to flow further up the back of the head, all the way to the top of the head. Including both ears, left ear, right ear. And allowing the attention to flow over the forehead and into the eyes. Just noticing what the eyes sense like, feel like. Allowing the attention to flow into the cheeks and into the jaw. And pausing here, really just noticing what the jaw feels and senses like. Is it clenched, tight, or relaxed, loose? Just being aware of as it is. And if the jaw is clenched in some way, then seeing if we can just relax the jaw here. Maybe take a deep breath here and just let go if that's possible. And taking a moment here to widen the angle of our attention to include the whole body in our awareness. It's almost like turning from a torchlight attention to like switching on the light in the room that includes the whole body. So see if we can tune to the entire body. From the head, down the shoulders, back, chest, lower back, abdomen, buttocks, thighs, legs and feet, and arms and hands. See if you can tune into the aliveness, to the sensations, the awareness of the entire body, just the way it is here right now. And just resting in this awareness, bathing in this awareness itself of the body. Just letting go here. Just resting here. And if you have thoughts or ideas or worries coming in, perfectly normal, just say hello to them. Just befriend them. Just acknowledge them. And let them be as they are. And coming back to sensing the aliveness of the entire body. Before we come to the end, I'd like to invite you to show some gratitude to yourself, perhaps, if that feels comfortable. Almost like saying a self-thank you for having engaged in this practice. Because this might have been challenging for you, or it might have been quite easy. So either way, maybe just acknowledging yourself for having participated in this body scan meditation. Thank you. I hope that you have found this meditation useful, and again, for more information, please visit www.dorset-mindfulness.co.uk. That's dorset-mindfulness.co.uk.